Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes of all teenagers, I'm back! I'm back. The OBS stuff works now. I spent so much of yesterday trying to figure out what the problem was, and it turns out there was basically nothing I could do. There was an update that was trying to be pushed to my system, and it wouldn't update, so I had to go ahead and reinstall everything and get all of my scenes back in order and get all of my settings back up and running. And it was like 7 p.m. when this all got finished anyway, so the stream time was basically passed, which sucks. Really does suck, because I was hoping to get some more work done yesterday, but we're here. We're back. Nice to see you, Al and Ranger Bravo. Nice to have you guys here. Hey. Thank you very much for the follow, Danny H. Thank you for... I see. I see, you're advertising a Discord. Yeah, no. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for the follow, but I'm not about to jump on to an advertising Discord. No interest in that. All right, so we last left off. We had completed half. Well, if we're not counting the bottom floor, we completed half of the of this nice apartment structure that we've got going on here. We're gonna go work on the other half today. I really am happy with the layout that we have here. It's a little tight on the interior, but that's not necessarily terrible. It just means that we've got to be very judicious about the kind of space that we use here. It's very laggy looking right now because of all the various things my graphics card is doing at the same time. But I am very happy with it. We're gonna work on the other half today, and we're gonna make sure to line them up. Hopefully, though I don't know if this will work. Hopefully we'll have enough time to work on the bottom floor stores as well. If not, I might end up just turning them into nothing spaces, because you see how these pieces are sort of falling through here. It's because of the wall trim that we used for the kitchen. It's because on this piece and on this piece, what we used for the kitchen. So, I mean, either I delete those pieces or I just, I don't know, I remove the bottom floor. And I think it probably makes the most sense just to delete these. Because those parts, I don't technically need them to have a backsplash, you know? It's not like I'm having food flung this direction or towards this wall. So we're probably fine there. Anyway, I'm getting a little lost in the weeds. We've got a lot of work to do today to catch up. Definitely to catch up. But yeah, I'm not sure what I want these bottom spaces to be. They are store spaces, but I don't know what that necessarily means right now. I just know that I like them and I'd like to utilize them for something. But we'll figure that out. Let's go ahead and set everything up here. Set the time, force weather, and there we go. God mode for building. Now let's jump in. Hopefully quick. I don't know how long this will take. Hopefully not too much time. Yeah, basically. It does bother me. I know that that's just what happens because I'm a small streamer. I get that. It just kind of happens that I'm going to get bot rated. But you know, I've gotten comments about this before. Why do I put up with the bots? Why do I even acknowledge them? Because I don't want to assume that someone is caught, you know, someone just is a bot because they happen to be doing these things, even if that's the most likely thing. I'd like to at least assume that they, you know, that they themselves are a person. Even though that's not very likely. I get that. I get that it's likely just a bot. But because I can't physically see them, I'm going to treat them as if they are a person until I'm proven wrong. But it does get annoying. I'll give you that. It does get annoying to a degree. Okay, let's go ahead and work on the layout for everything. The simple stuff will be here for the bottom floor. We don't really have a whole lot to do here. We just need to go ahead and put in a couple floor pieces and a couple ceiling pieces. Or rather, a couple floor pieces and a couple wall pieces. There we go, we got you. We'll go ahead and put our stairs in. Wonderful. Now we'll go ahead and put in our wall pieces. We were using what? Commercial 2? Okay, Commercial 2 it is. Commercial 2, and I think we use white this time. Yeah. Boom. Come on. Boom, and one more. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, now it's just the ceiling parts. That'll be the floor parts for the next section. But, and to make sure that I'm on point with all this stuff, we're gonna go in and try and remind ourselves how I laid everything out. Oh man, I'm glad I caught that sneeze. Okay, so we've got a half wall piece here, or rather a half floor, and then what, quarter floor? Would that be like a quarter floor piece in there? We'll see. We know you're a half piece. And if we were to move back here, okay, you're also a half piece. All right. I see. I see now. Okay, cool. Cool. Well, in that case, let's go ahead and set it up. So we're facing which direction here? Right, okay, so the door is where where we're facing with the stairs. All right, that's fair. Interior clean. We got to get a few of these clean white pieces before we can go in with the blue, just because this stairway needs to be consistent. And then on the next floor, as we did last time, on the next floor we'll have a little bit of extra room to work with. All right, so we've got this guy set up here. Is that we've got two sets of these guys. There and there. And then in here, we've got the full pieces. That way, stairway, door in, and then in. Yes. Okay, cool. Cool. Wonderful. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. And because there's going to be a building back here, that's right. I can just use the full wall pieces. Ugh. Beautiful. Okay. Okay, we're getting back on track. We're getting back on track. It's taken a little bit, but it should be easier because we've got an example to work off of. So hopefully we don't go over too far. If we go over at all today, hopefully we don't go over time too much. I've got a couple other things going on. Things I got to prep for, of course. I've got church tomorrow, so I need to make sure I'm I'm to bed at a reasonable time. I'd like to get this stream taken care of at a reasonable hour. All right, and then this front piece, yeah, we're just using the half wall piece. Okay, cool. All right. But yeah, so as the previous one was green, this one's going to be all blue in its design here. So we're going to go with a ooh, I'll get that corner first, actually. That corner's gonna drive me crazy if I forget it. Cool. Alright, so we can do a couple things here. We can go ahead and put this, well, no, I'll hold off on putting in the ceiling again. I want to make sure I get the bottom floor taken care of before I even worry about the top floor. But we can put in all of our plaster walls. We'll do that next. We're going for blue for our plaster walls here. And we need you, of course, to be our pair of half wall pieces. That way we have things we can snap to. Walls for our walls to snap to. Which is strange, I know, but that's the way it goes. And probably the same for you, am I right? Oh, come on. Don't be tough. Don't be annoying. This is, you don't need to be like this. Alright, and then we've got you and Mod Pause X128 and 0. Wonderful. And then in here, we go with, I believe, you at the back portion. And then you right there. Am I correct? Let's see if I'm correct. Yeah, okay. Half wall is at the window side. Okay, cool. Cool. Definitely working. Definitely working. Oh, come on. Wait, seriously? You're not gonna... Alright, whatever. I'll just go through here then. strange that it wouldn't let me. Very strange. All right. Well. Oh, you know what? No, I remember this the roof of this hallway is gonna be the floor of the bathroom, of the master bathroom. So I can just close that whole section off, can't I? I can just close that off and put the light in and not worry about it. Of course, we'll have to do doors later, but that's a different problem. All right, amazing. $27 and 0. Awesome. Okay, good. Good. Now I won't come back here until the very end, when we have to close up all the doors. I won't worry about that. Okay, let's see. Let's see here. We got a few things. Ooh, that's right. That's right. This door is different, and this wall piece right here is the white half wall piece because we want the interior to be the white plaster. We don't really need anything special when it comes to this little utility closet we've got here. All right, there we go. That's better. That's much better. All right, let's make sure we get those windows taken care of. I like that they're all the same kind of window. That makes it a lot easier to build with. But let's get to work on those. We want to start with our window pieces. We'll go into the kitchen first because we know how that's going to go. It's pretty simple. The same thing we usually do. All right, and then I will be cautious only to put the backsplash on the full wall pieces, and just so we don't have troubles in the future. Wonderful. And shared interiors will go first with you. Now we'll grab ourselves the blue. Ooh, that could have been... Actually, yeah. We'll go ahead and switch that guy out. That's why I set you to half wall pieces. Well, one of the two reasons. The other one is so we have a snapping point for the wall and door, but never mind. This, I don't have to worry about a wallpaper piece for. Okay, wonderful. Makes it so much easier. Okay. Okay. And then we've got a full wall wallpaper for you. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. It's just taking its time, but we'll make it. We've got a couple more pieces to work with. That's right. Right, I needed the half wall for you as well, didn't I? The half wall white tile for you. And we've got a couple doors. Then we'll go from there. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, we will go for the half height blue backsplash, but only on the full wall pieces, not on the half wides. Only on the window pieces. That's probably the easiest way to put it. Only on the window pieces. Yeah, okay. All right, beautiful. Beautiful. That works perfect for the kitchen. Now let's go ahead and slot everything in. We've got a floor piece to handle, or rather tiles to handle, and then we'll work on the actual kitchen install. I'm getting a text message from my brother. What is this? What is this? He sent me a video? Hold on, this is such a stupid video. All right then. All right then. Well, never mind. That was a stupid video. I thought that would be something I would share, but no. No. All right. To get back on track here, let's see. We've got one more thing. We've got some wallpaper trims, and we've got that's right. We've got some triples we need to work with here. Okay. What is that, X? Yeah. Alright, well, it's only 2 triples we gotta work with, so could be worse. It could be significantly worse. And then we've got a couple doubles. We've got you, and then we've got you. Okay. Okay, that does the job. That does the job for us for the bottom floor here. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and get this all set up then. All right. We're gonna work on the kitchen first. That's right. I already said we're gonna work on the kitchen first, so we will work on the kitchen first. For furniture, miscellaneous. Let's go ahead and get that nice blue kitchen put together. So we could go like this. In fact, this is kind of the only way we can go, which means... Oh no. Ooh, boy. Okay. Well, what challenges would we face if we did rotate it all the way around? How would that work? Let's see. Right then. Okay, I guess we won't have a utility closet back here because we need the kitchen. The kitchen is a little bit more important. We kind of don't have much of a choice. Oh, and you know what? That just gave me an idea for the business that will be below this apartment. If they don't have a laundry machine and a dryer, then they're gonna run a laundromat. Wonderful. Okay. Okay, that works perfectly for us. That works perfectly for us. So, we've got a couple things we need to change out here then. Just a couple things. We need to go ahead and change you. Replace you with our full wall piece, and we won't do anything about this guy back here. We're just not going to touch that at all. It'll just be empty space. But that will work fine for us. Alright, here's the probably fastest way to fix this guy for us. We'll go with that. With you. And then wallpapers. Come on. Very close here. There we go. We've got that one, and then we can also do something a little nice with this guy. second. Check this out. Wonderful. And the tiles even line up. If I weren't in the build menu, I wouldn't be able to tell that the two things weren't the same thing. Okay, cool. Well, that makes that a lot easier. I probably could. Well, no. Because then I would mess up this whole thing we've got going on here for the stairs, and we need the stairs to be here. It's a problem. It's a problem. It's a problem. All right. We're going to move you up there for a moment so that I can make sure that our stove is actually lined up on the axis properly, because if the stove is lined up, then the rest of it is, and it looks like it is. We did a pretty good job placing it the first time around. Alright, so it's good on one axis. Now we'll make sure it's good on the other. For the x-axis, let's go ahead and move you in slowly here. And we didn't need to move you in much. We did a pretty good job with that one. Okay, good. Good, you are in place. Everything is still fully accessible. Alright, cool. Cool. And you know what? We do have the room this time because we're rotated 180 degrees, so we will end up placing an extension for this kitchen. An island extension. Oh geez, come on. I'm trying to land on top of the wall here. I've done this a million times. It's not that hard. Granted, I've also fallen off of it a million times, so maybe it is hard. Miscellaneous, we want you. All right. Let's make sure you line up properly. Ooh. How does that look? Oh man, just the slightest change, right? Just the slightest change. Okay. That should be all good. We'll go ahead and line you up. We'll get the time and weather in just a second. Just gotta make sure here. Beautiful. Okay, great. Oh man, that's so much better. So much better. I could have probably put the table that we're putting in here. I could have put that here in the kitchen, but I like the island. It gives us more counter space. Gives us a lot more counter space. Allows us to sort of just push things out, not have everything so claustrophobic and just cramped in here to an annoying degree. All right. Well, I'm fairly certain I know the way that the stairs and everything are going to go. I just need to have the floors placed in so that I can place the stairs. So we're still waiting on that, but we'll be there. We'll be there soon. In fact, here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to check on them if I can, but you're not going to let me? Very strange. Okay. I'll just drop in and do it that way. So, yes, you are one of the half, not quarter pieces. All right, half piece it is. Then, yeah, we'll just need to wait a little bit in order to get all of that to line up properly. Cool. Well, now that we've got the furniture placed in there, we'll place the furniture in here. Then we'll go ahead and OC decorate the zone and move on from there. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Okay. First thing we need to do on this side is we need to place the little TV cabinet. We're going to use a different one than we used last time. Last time we used one that had drawers in it. I think this time we're just going to use the big ovaloid one that has negative space in the center. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Yeah, we're going to use this guy. It's the clean domestic coffee table, but really it's just a big ovaloid negative space. You know, it's a band of wood stretched around like that. I have a lot of respect for carpenters in the way that they can round off wood that was previously cornered off. Lots and lots of respect, because that's a very difficult thing to do. It takes a lot of creativity. All right. Yeah, so we go with you. That's good. That's very good, actually. Then we go in for the seat, which is going to be one of the office couches. We've got less space out here, so we're using some smaller pieces. I like that color. I also like that one. Ooh, that one looks pretty good. Yeah, we'll use that one for the space. It's almost perfect for what we need. All right, wonderful. Now let's go ahead and move you into place. We will try and sink you back into the wall just a little bit so that the slightly off kilter nature of the of the seat back here is kind of obscured. And okay, good, you're not showing through. Wonderful. As long as you're not showing through, we're doing fine. All right, cool. Cool. Wonderful. We'll get the TV in just a second, but we've got the table, the chairs, and the wall, and the big cabinet at the wall that we need to place in. So we'll get those here first. Furniture, tables, home. Yes, there we go. We want the medium table. There we go. I don't know what reference you're talking about, actually. If it was from a couple days ago, I probably don't remember what we were talking about a couple days ago, other than the fact that I was yapping. I probably didn't, if I did get it at the time, I don't remember what the reference was now. Oh, okay. Okay, yes, now I remember you sending that. I was a little confused at the time, actually. I was a little confused. I forgot that was a They Live reference. Shame on me. Alright, great. We've got you placed in. We'll need to move you a bit closer to the couch, which means we'll have 2 chairs on this side. We will need to. We'll need to have 2 chairs on this side here. Already in mods, might as well continue. All right, awesome. Awesome. Now we'll go for the actual cabinet itself. Yeah, I don't know where this guy's getting all of his international cuisine. I don't know where Ranger Bravo gets all his international cuisine, but damn, that sounds delicious. I am probably not going to have something that tasty tonight. It's just probably going to be a little bit boring for me. Alright, let's see here. Yeah, we want a nice fancy bureau. Because it takes up the space there perfectly. Actually, I will see what my dad is up to for dinner, because my mom is out of town visiting my grandparents, and she won't be back for pretty much the week. So he's definitely gonna want to go grab a bite at some point. Tonight would work pretty well, as long as I can get all of the rendering and stuff taken care of. Alright, there we'll go. 15 units for you. 15 for you. And 15 for you. There we go. That makes it a lot easier to move in and out of that space. It's a very narrow space we have here. This is why it's an apartment, and this is why we have roommates, not a family. That's how this all goes up here. Frog legs with a side of chow mein. That sounds delicious. It's been a while since I've had frog legs. It's been a while. I believe this question was asked some point in the last few streams. You know, are there things that I miss about the West Coast? There's a couple. There's a couple things. Oh no, we were talking about it the other day when we were talking about homesickness. There's a couple things I miss about the West Coast, but those things are food related. Like we had amazing access in California to restaurants of all different types. You could get authentic cuisine of any type you were looking for, and I had quite the palate. Thankfully, my parents raised me not to be picky about foods, and I was blessed not to have any food allergies. But on top of that, you also had access to high quality ingredients very, very regularly. It's just part of the culture out there. Not that everyone, you know, buys organic or whatever. I know that's a stereotype of California. But my mom was always good about making sure we were well fed and fed with good stuff. There's a couple good restaurants in California that I just can't find an equivalent for out here. And I don't mean In-N-Out. A lot of people think you mean In-N-Out when you say, you know, you miss California food. I don't mean In-N-Out. It's nice to have every once in a while, but I never went there. I never went there regularly anyway. No, I mean like actual restaurants, you know? Yeah, absolutely. No, I totally get that, man. It certainly could get expensive out in California if you were shopping in the wrong places. But like if you knew the butcher, or you knew someone who knew good deals, or it's very common out in California. We've got a bunch of people in suburban environments who will just raise chickens. So like you could get fresh eggs every day, and they were just beautiful. Just some of just the brightest orange yolk you've ever seen for chickens. They taste amazing. They taste amazing, but yeah, there were ways of getting around it. There were certainly ways of getting around the prohibitively expensive food prices that a lot of people experienced. Like you can get good organic food that's not from, you know, like a Whole Foods or a Trader Joe's or whatever. For those of you here in the U.S., those are kind of our big, you know, bespoke organic companies out here. But yeah, it was nice. It was nice. It's a little harder to do out here, which is funny because now that I live in the Midwest, you'd think it would be easier because I live closer to where all of the cows are raised. But no, the culture out here is different. You know, the quality of food isn't as important as whether or not it's available. Which I can appreciate that. I can certainly appreciate that. Let's go ahead and move on into OC Decorator while I'm talking about this. I can appreciate that because not every crazy thing said about organic food needs to be followed. Like, yes, is it better to have organic non-GMO foods just like on a purely empirical basis? Okay, probably, but does that mean that you are unhealthy? Does that mean that your otherwise healthy meal of, you know, like grilled chicken, rice, white rice, and just rice in general, grilled chicken, rice, and a vegetable, is it now unhealthy because it's white rice or because it's not organic chicken? No, it just means you might be placing modified foods into your body. But the nutrients are all still the same. And it's cheaper. Honestly, it's nicer because it's nicer not to have to worry about dietary restrictions because you can get cheaper food. You just can. All right, we're gonna put the phone on this side because the radio is going on the other side there. Yeah, see, that's something I've done a few times, buying from farmers directly. So the barber I had out in California, that's what the barber shop that I built on this map, Timeless Barbers. One of the barbers I had there in California, his name was Victor. Great guy. Don't know if he still works there because it's been like this August will be 4 years since I moved out here. But if he is still out there and you know someone visits him, tell him I said hi. He's a great guy. He is like a diehard. He's a diehard farm to table guy, to the point where he bought a cow. He bought a cow off of a farmer and just paid to have the farmer raise that cow and feed it certain things, and be able to give him like all of the raw ingredients. You know, all of the carcass right after it was killed, all of the raw milk that it produced. Like this guy was deep into the health foods scene and was very particular about what he put in his body. He didn't have any food allergies. You know, it wasn't out of like a necessity. He has to have this quality of food. It was really just he really cared about what he was putting into his body, and I mean, good for him. But he got a little crazy about it a few times, a little crazy about it, to the point where I was like, should you be telling me that you buy raw milk? And he clarified, no, I don't buy raw milk. I bought the cow, and the cow produces raw milk, and I just have the farmer give me the raw milk. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, if the FDA's not going to jail you for it, then I'm not gonna complain. He's a great guy. But yeah, I can see why the quality of the food that you're putting into your body would be exceptionally important for people with food allergies. I know that's the case for my mom. She's got food allergies. I get why she only eats certain types of things and why she cares about the quality of her food. But I was blessed not to have food allergies. So I look at it differently. You know. To answer the Yeah, to answer the GMO question, let's see. Not that I don't dislike GMOs. Yeah, I mean, in principle, GMOs are not a problem because like in principle, a genetically modified organism is something that has been bred with the specific purpose of increasing or changing a certain thing about the food that is supposed to make it better. The problem is that some of the GMOs have also produced or have also increased the rate of certain food allergies, and I can understand why that becomes a burden for people, especially if you end up having a food allergy. But to then go and vilify all foods that happen to be genetically modified is kind of strange, because the only reason we have cows as productive as they are today is because farmers for thousands of years have decided they want, like since the agricultural revolution, farmers have said we want domesticated animals that will produce more meat or more milk or whatever, so we're going to breed these species together to create the most productive thing. That's the core of what a genetically modified organism is. I wish that people were a little bit more specific when they were complaining about these things, because it can come across as, oh, I don't like the idea of how farming works. I don't like the idea of how raising cattle works, because it can come across like that sometimes. Talking export, did you know Brazil is the biggest orange juice exporter to the... That is wild. That's wild, man. Huh. So you guys have coffee and orange juice. That's crazy. That's crazy. Two complete opposites in terms of things I would want to eat together. Orange juice. Crazy. So, okay, do the oranges come into Brazil and then out as orange juice, or are the oranges also from Brazil? I had the right money. I mean, I could see that. I could see getting a Japanese citizenship. From what I've heard, because I've looked into, all the different kinds of citizenships and all that kind of stuff. From what I've heard, apparently one of the best kinds of passports you can get is the Italian passport. I guess. I don't know. I wish I could get my Italian passport, but I am somewhere between a quarter and an eighth Italian. Because I know if I'm just talking my mom's side, I'd be an eighth Italian, but my dad also has Italian on his side, and he was adopted, so I don't know how far back it goes. So I'm somewhere in that weird middle ground between a fourth Italian and an eighth Italian. But if I were to get my Italian citizenship, the fastest way I could do it would be if I'm a quarter Italian, I basically have if I'm a quarter or more Italian, then I basically have a fast track to getting that citizenship and that passport. But I don't. I'm not. As far as I know, I'm not a quarter Italian. So I don't know. I'll probably get one of those genetic tests done at some point. But from what I've heard, they're supposed to be one of the most accessible passports out there. Gives you access to the largest number of countries just by default, which is kind of crazy. All right, we're good with the furniture here. I know I'm just yapping and it's been an hour. Ah, that's right. It's an Italian great-grandparent. Well, then I'm good. If all I need is an Italian great-grandparent, then yes, I'm good. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I'll have to look into getting that. That would be cool. It'd be nice to go visit more places in the world. I've had the pleasure and the blessing of being able to visit Israel last year before everything went off, just about a year ago actually. well, a little over a year ago now. I went at the end of May and the beginning of June. It was a nice 2-week trip. It was a really cool experience to go, and I'd like to go and travel to more places. But the Israel trip was wild, man. I saw so many awesome religious and historical sites, and it was truly eye-opening to just how impactful such a small place in the world has been to the world at large. It was crazy to see. Okay, yeah, let's get back into the OC Decorator stuff. What am I doing here? What am I doing? Why am I not why am I not decorating? What's wrong? What did I do? All right, kitchen stuff. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I've also traveled, fairly widely across the country, across the United States. And it's difficult to explain the distances between things here in the United States when one country is like 60% of a continent. It's really difficult to explain the distances between things to people who aren't from large countries. It can get kind of crazy, and I've had friends from all over, and trying to explain to them, yeah, I traveled 12 hours and I did not leave this country. I traveled 12 hours and crossed 2 states. And then, like, wait, what do you mean? How did you drive for 12 hours and not leave the country? It's kind of absurd. It's kind of absurd. You're going to be a professor of some kind, you could try going to Vietnam. They're paying lots of money for professors, doctors, and these sorts of highly educated workers. That's cool. That's cool. I had a friend in high school who was getting his English degree so that he could go ahead and be an English teacher in Japan. And while he was there, he was gonna get his nurse practitioner's license. But they are paying, feeding, and housing you to be English teachers in Asia, in several places. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. I remember in high school, so here in the United States, when you are in high school, you are required to take 2 school years worth of language courses of a foreign language. And the most common options are Spanish and French, and maybe if you're lucky, you get some other options like Chinese, Japanese, Russian, all this kind of stuff. It's but because the most common second language here in the United States is Spanish, it's the one that most people go for. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go for a language that maybe I would use for business purposes at some other point, and I don't know what I was thinking, because I was I don't know if it was entirely me or if I was just thinking, oh, this is something that would make sense and other people would probably like for me to do, so I might do this. But at my school, which was this crazy school system that I'll probably get into at some other point, but at my school they offered Japanese, and I'm like, ooh, that's cool. That's cool. Japanese sounds pretty interesting, and that sounds like it would be an amazing business language, and it is. Japanese is a great business language. In fact, a lot of expats and overseas businessmen from the United States suggest you learn Japanese or Russian more than learning Chinese, because business practices and business culture is a lot easier to adapt to in a place like Japan or Russia than in China, and also work culture and the way that the Chinese economy treats Americans very different, and they've had a lot of complaints about this kind of stuff. So I'm like, okay, cool. Japanese sounds interesting. My professor, because my high school was also a part of a community college program, So I was taking this from a professor, not from a regular language teacher. My professor was... He might as well have been 1,000 years old. I felt really bad because the TA was doing most of the teaching and he was in the classroom, but he was not all there. This had been his like 15th year teaching just at this school. It was tough. It was really tough sitting there. He did not understand the concept of using technology in order to cheat on your homework or on your tests or anything. And so many of my classmates just sat there and were like, "Oh, hey, can I use this as a tool to assist me in this thing?" And they just kind of took advantage, and it was really uncomfortable to see. Super uncomfortable to see. And I was just sitting there like, well, I guess, I mean, this is the class. I kind of have to take this. Kind of got to get it over with. But I was really not I ended up not enjoying the class at all because instead of being a great language course that could have taught me a lot, what it ended up being was a 1,000-year-old veteran teacher who is no longer capable of teaching these things on his own, and so the TA walks in, goes ahead and puts on learn the Japanese language videos from like 1985 or something that had been re-uploaded to YouTube. Actually, no, not even YouTube. It was Vimeo. They had been re-uploaded to Vimeo. And we just sat there and watched these things. And we had to spend 2.5 hours every day after, well, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday after school. 2.5 hours doing this. Because that's when the Japanese classes were offered. They weren't offered at any other time. But while all my other friends, while they got their language classes done in the middle of the day, and it was 55 minutes to 65 minutes depending on which class they were in for this. I'm like, "Hi, okay guys, I'll talk to you later. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be here until 5:30, maybe 6 o'clock." It was tough. It was tough, but I will say I did not have to take a second year of that course because for the Japanese course, 2 years worth of language, a year's worth of language classes was smushed into a semester. So my 2 years worth of language requirements were actually just squished down into 1 year's worth of language requirements. And it was painful, but it was certainly a way of making memories. Certainly a way of making memories, and I always made sure to pack an extra large lunch because I would be allowed to eat while I was there in class, and so I could just get a lot done there. I could eat and then go home and do the rest of my homework. It was interesting. It was interesting. I might make a video about it someday, about the weird school that I went to. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I've got a few different ideas as to like how I would talk about it, because I know I'm talking about it like it was this funny experience. It wasn't. It was a pretty bad experience overall. But I'm trying not to hold on to the fact that it was a terrible experience, and I'm hoping I can extract something interesting out of it. Hoping at the very least. Certainly praying about it. Alright, let's go ahead and fix the time and weather here. Well, yeah, of course. There's also the socialist country aspect. Reminds me of my last year in high school. We had classes from 7 to 5, 2 or 3 days a week. Yeah, that... Honestly, I would probably prefer that. I would probably have preferred 2 or 3 days a week and then the other ones off. Yeah, I had classes from 7:15 in the morning to 3:15 in the afternoon or early evening, depending on which you count that as, depending on the season. And that was if I got out on time. If I did not have any late classes, I would get out at that time. Yeah, it was not great. It was not great. And then on top of that, each of my teachers like to pile on 45 minutes to an hour and a half's worth of extra homework. So, and we did not have block periods. If we had classes, if I had, well, not every class had a block period. A couple of them had block periods. My advanced placement college courses, those one had block periods. The ones that I took actually on the college campus, those ones did. But the rest of them were daily, so I could come home with 6 classes worth of homework, and each of them decided to give me an hour and a half's worth of homework that night. I wouldn't be going to bed. I wouldn't be going to bed that night. I would be going to bed the next morning, if that. It was a lot. It was a lot, but I don't know if I want to spoil the ending of it. I think I'm gonna hold off. Okay, so I'm good with the kitchen. Good with this section over here. I think, yeah, we'll just put in the floor tiles, put in the ceiling, and move on from there. Rather, put in the ceiling, put in the lights, and then we'll move on from there. What am I saying? What words are coming out of my mouth? I want to make sure that the lights are good here. Ceiling, we want you. Okay. Cool. Let's go ahead. Snappy builds. Shell kit all the way back here. And then we want, we'll go like this, Mod Pause Z50. Go with you, and you. All right, in other days we'd be up from 7 to noon. Yeah, we had special uniforms. All black. That's interesting. Yeah, we don't tend to do uniforms too often here in the United States. When I was a kid, when I was in elementary and junior high, so from the ages of about 4 years old, maybe 5, to 14 years old. So yeah, that 8 or 9 year span of time, 9 year span of time. I was at Christian schools, so we did have uniforms there. But when I hit junior high, so about 6 years in, we weren't required to wear those uniforms anymore. I happen to like uniforms. I like a regimented schedule, but a lot of my classmates were not happy with uniforms. All right, we actually want to go ahead and switch these guys around. So here's what we'll do. All right, wonderful. Okay. We go ahead and we put in the stairs, then we'll go grab those lights. And did I have any railings down here for this guy? No, I didn't. Okay, good. Then I won't worry about railings for this one. I'll just put them in here. All right, wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Yeah, let's go and grab those lights, and then we'll move on. Then we will move on. You're never gonna miss school, Ranger? I get that. I certainly feel that sometimes. Here, every school uses uniforms. Usually public schools do just a normal t-shirt, but I always went to private schools. They use full uniforms and usually look like tracksuits. That's interesting. Tracksuit style uniforms. I've never heard that one. Never heard that one before. Alright, beautiful. We got that guy there. We got you, and then we'll come over here. Make sure we're clicked onto you. Grab our beautiful ceiling fan. Got a couple other things we're going to place down here as well. I need a clock on the wall and some art. Alright, hey, Knight 115, nice to have you. Nice to have you. Alright, you always went, Al, you always went to Catholic schools. That doesn't surprise me. Catholicism is very, very big in South America. It does not surprise me at all. Although I find it odd that Knight, that your mom would say you couldn't handle private schools. I find that quite odd. Yeah, making the switch from private to public schools, I certainly preferred private school. I certainly did. I felt like I was actually learning things there, even if I was bored by it, because I would learn the concept, and then before the class was done, I would have my homework done, because they made the mistake of putting the night's homework on the board before class started. So I was always focused on that. It's because I don't really deal well with uptight school. Okay, well, I understand that. I can understand that as a concern, but take it from private school kids. Private schools aren't nearly as uptight as a lot of people say that they are. They're really not. You know, there's general, expectations of decency. There's general expectations of decency, but it's not like a boarding school, you know? It's not like, oh, what's a good example of a boarding school I could pull for you? It's not like, you know, it's not like you're going to Hogwarts or something where everyone has certain expectations of them. It really, like, the uniforms are pretty much the farthest that it goes for most private schools. Well, yeah, of course, everyone would go to Hogwarts because there's an extra element there, you know? There's the element of fun. Everyone would go to Hogwarts, of course. Of course everyone would. I certainly would. But yeah, private schools are not nearly as scary or as uptight as the media likes to portray them. Here in the United States, at the very least, the general public perception of private schools is that they are very you know, classist or something. Nah, the people in private schools are the same kinds of people you'll meet at any other school. They just happen to be wearing a uniform. You know, you get the same kinds of groups, you get the same kinds of cliques or friend groups or anything, really. Just so happens that the school costs more. Granted, the quality of education usually pans out. Usually makes up for the, at least in my case, the quality of education certainly was quite the improvement. Even though the public high school I went to was part of a college program. I felt like I learned less there. Your missus used to go to private school. Well, that's nice. That's nice. Yeah, you know, I was blessed to be able to go to a private school. My family's not rich. No. My family's not rich. We were, no, pretty average. In fact, for California standards, we would probably have been considered lower class. Certainly low middle class, if not just actually lower class in California, because everything just costs an arm and a leg out there. It's terrible. But I was blessed to have very generous grandparents who wanted my brother and I to have a good education. And we certainly benefited. That's for sure. Met my best friends in private school. Most of them. Got a couple of them from public school, but they are definitely the exception. All right, I like that. That's pretty good. We'll work on that second floor. We got to get moving here. We're already halfway through. Although I will say it is getting easier because we don't have to invent the layout for everything now. We just can kind of work with what we have. Okay. Let's see here. That's going to be a half wall. That's going to be a half wall. The rest of these are going to be full walls, hopefully. That's the goal here. And then we also need to work on the balcony railing and ledges. Don't care for... Oh, believe me, I don't care for California either. I was born there. I don't live there now. I'm glad I don't live there now, but, oof. You know, you don't recognize it when you're a child. You tend not to recognize the place that you live when you're a child because you're a child. You shouldn't have to worry about adult things when you're a kid. You shouldn't be burdened with that kind of thing. But my parents were youth pastors for a good portion of my childhood. That's where I get a lot of things from. Certainly where I get my faith from. But they were great, and we were very heavily involved in We were very heavily involved in missions work and community work. So I got to see all of the poorly implemented policies of California firsthand, because I got to see how it actually affected the people that lived there. I didn't live in a bubble. I actually saw the way that everything panned out, and I did not like it. I did not like what I saw, because it didn't really benefit anybody. It only hurt the people that it was supposed to protect. So you can imagine how my opinions about things that California do have probably evolved. Yeah, it was not great. It was not great, but my childhood was fun, of course. Of course, I had a great time as a kid. But yeah, you see different things. You see completely different things when you're a kid. And you shouldn't have to recognize the wider world. You shouldn't be required to see all of the trouble of the world when you're a child. You should be able to, live your childhood. You shouldn't have to worry about, what you're going to do as an adult when you're 6 years old. You should not have to have the adult world forced upon you at 6. Yeah, mine isn't either. My mom worked for the schools I went to. That's the policy. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I had lots of friends who did the same thing here. Several of my closest friends from that time, their parents worked at the school. They might have been teachers. They might have been working in the office, whatever it was. But yeah, they got to send their kids. They got to send their kids to the school. That is a classic. Is a classic moment for private schools. Very classic move. I had a couple friends my brother had a couple friends whose parents were teachers at the school. Yeah, classic private school moment right there. Right there. Yeah, I could see visiting San Francisco once. I wouldn't say go now or even soon, because if you need to have an app to tell you where to avoid piles of human feces because they're not going to clean it up and they'd rather just leave it there, and if they think making an app is an easier move than cleaning it up, now's not the right time to go. Now's not the right time to go. You gotta wait. You gotta just go at a different time. But there are some important cultural things you probably should visit California at least once for. I get that. But yeah, it definitely needs to remove its fourth point of contact out of its own rectum. I agree. No, we want doors here, actually. I'm gonna put these guys. But if you try and remove that fourth point of contact, they will say that you're homophobic. When realistically, you just don't want the state to be harmed. We just want you to get back to business and stop slacking off. That's about it. I forget where it was. I'm fairly certain it's somewhere in California, but there was there was this, I think it was in San Francisco. There was a street or like a part of town that removed its no U-turn signs. Because the community there said that having no U-turn signs was homophobic. Because their whole logic behind having the no U-turn sign there was that you have to go straight. You can't. And I'm thinking, these are road safety signs, ma'am. These are road safety signs. Are you really gonna start a culture war over road safety signs? It's just It's just terrible. It's just terrible, man. It's horrendous. If you're not talking of, if you weren't being, you know, like serious about any of the culture stuff, then I guess I don't know, or maybe I don't want to know what you meant by visiting in California for reasons. Maybe it's better that I don't know what you mean. Oh man. I'm gonna be thinking about the no U-turn signs all day now. I gotta buy a shirt that's just a big no U-turn sign. Then again, I don't feel like visiting California, so I'm probably don't have a reason to. Oh man, yeah, it's kind of stupid. Kind of stupid. But the current vice president was previously in charge of a lot of political decisions for California, which should tell you how well they're doing, how well they're doing their job. That should give you all the information you need. I forget exactly which position, politically speaking, that the current vice president was in California, but I can give you some other kinds of positions that they were in, that's for sure. How else did they get their job? In fact, they were several people they have to put it in a safe way for YouTube, several people that the current vice president has colluded with, there we go, we'll use that term, have been very open about, yeah, this person did this and got this job. It's disgusting. It's disgusting the way that politics works right now. But it's certainly funny to talk about. What I've heard about that U-turn thing is that the no U-turn sign was there because of... that would still play into the whole, if you can't make a U-turn, you have to go straight, and therefore straight equals straight. And they're making a big thing out of it, and it's so it's a road safety sign, lady. It's a road safety sign. Maybe it's supposed to be there because otherwise people are going to crash their cars. I don't know. Maybe think outside of yourself for 5 minutes when you're about to complain about something that means nothing. There we go. Okay, we got those. Yeah, we'll work on the bathroom first. How much time we got? Oh, we've got plenty of time. Yesterday, you and your wife were snooping around one of the apps. Oh, one of the cruising apps? One of those kinds of apps? Yeah, dating today is terrible. Dating today is horrendous. There's several reasons why I am not currently involved in it. But mostly because I don't like the way it's currently going. know, I mean, if my options are to engage in the current dating culture or to just not, I'm going to make the executive decision to not engage in the current dating culture because it's horrendous. And has been for a bit. It's just now people are getting self-defensive about it, and I'm thinking, what if I just, you know, what if someone just doesn't want to be involved in this? And I know you probably didn't mean one of the dating apps. You probably meant one of the other cruising apps, but I'm talking dating apps to keep it safe for YouTube. I'm not gonna I know what you're talking about, and I'm upset that I know what you're talking about. But it gets kind of crazy. But yes, Ranger, the dating culture is terrible right now. Doesn't need to be. Doesn't need to be. But it's easier to have the dating culture be this way and then just say, well, it is what it is, than to actively, you know, make certain lifestyle changes that will improve your life overall and improve your relationships overall. Because we do not live in a culture that values self-sacrifice. We live in a culture that values self-indulgence, and I don't just mean, you know, America, which is that's a fair criticism. America in general has always had a more self-indulgent. Well, okay, I will say over the last 100 years has had a more self-indulgent culture, absolutely. But I mean like this day and age specifically around the world. Certainly around the modernized world. Had a very self-indulgent culture. And ultimately, that is a terrible thing for everybody. Is the essence of civilization is self-sacrifice for the betterment of the whole. And I don't mean in some like political statement kind of way. I mean, you know, as a function of society. There has to be a certain level of self-sacrifice to benefit your loved ones, those around you, your friends, your family, and ultimately society at large. All right, how are we doing with this guy? There we go. We got that one in place. Now we'll go for the toilet, which will be right there, and then the sink, which will be right in front of the door. Awesome. Awesome. She's trying to get evidence of her brother's boyfriend cheating. Just so. Okay. I'm sure if you try some tea, you get your. I would not say that this world is hopeless, although I do have I know that I certainly have a more that it can appear that I have a more cynical worldview because my humor is it tends to run more dry and more sarcastic, and sarcasm and cynicism are often go hand in hand with each other. But no, I think that this is a phase of society. Every society goes through it. I don't think this is the end. I think that there's a chance it could get a lot more difficult for us. But I don't think it's hopeless. Also, hold on. Because of my religious beliefs, I also do believe that there is more to life than just the physical. And that because of that, I am not as concerned with the way that I live here on Earth as the way that that I will live after life. But we don't, you know, this. I'm not trying to turn this into a bigger thing, but I can understand. I understand and certainly sympathize with the sentiment. All right, we got the toilet there. Yeah, I want to have it around the corner instead of just in front of the door, so that, you know, one of the roommates opens this, the first thing they're gonna see isn't the other guy's bare ass just sitting there like, hey guy, what you doing? What's going on? Let's get the sink and the mirror in before I go ahead and place everything else, and go from there. Yeah, Ranger, I can sympathize with the loneliness aspect for sure. Sure, I think everyone feels that at some point. I certainly have. I absolutely have. And some days it's a stronger feeling than others. But I do trust. I have faith that if it is right that I should find a partner, then I will at some point. And I'm willing to wait for however long that takes. But I can definitely sympathize with the struggle. Alright, we'll change all the weather and stuff in a moment. Let's go ahead and get the towel in. Then we'll go ahead and switch everything around. Ooh. Minus 16. Okay, there we go. There we go. Nice. It is blindingly bright in this room. Unnecessarily so, I'm sure, but we're going to keep at it. We're going to keep at it. We're making good time. Very good time today. A surprisingly good time. There we go. Yeah, we got toilet paper, towels, and newspaper rack. That's right, that's the third one. Newspaper rack. That's what I was trying to, like, wait, what am I forgetting here? I know about the toilet paper. What else is going on? Okay. Get you into place. There we go. We got you, then we'll place you basically right there. Move you back a little bit, but basically right there. Alright, wonderful. And then we got the towels, and we'll go from there. Awesome. Awesome. Well, that's all we need to do for this guy. That's all we need to do for him. We can put the ceiling on, lights in, and door on, and then we'll be good for him. We'll move on to the bedrooms and work our way from there. How are we doing? Ooh, an hour 50. Okay, we're making good time. Very good time. Very, very good time. Okay, we want snappy builds. Oh boy, there we go. Shell kit, come on. Don't lag too much on me. Floors, clean. I want you guys. Yeah, nice. Okay, we can come in here, line this up with this, and move on it from there. Well, it looks like the three of us are in a very similar boat right now. Very similar boat. I've got a video I'm working on. I've got all kinds of videos I'm working on. I don't know when this one will come out, but it'll be out on the first. If it gets done in a reasonable time, it will be out on the first channel, the main channel. But I've got a video I'm working on about the previous place that I worked and all the ups and downs of it. Because it's not as simple as, oh, I loved or hated this job. It's like, okay, this is where the job's great, and this is where it can get kind of tricky. Here's where some of the gray area comes in, and why it can be a problem, all that kind of stuff. I'd like to get the video done before I talk about what the job was. Although I've probably said it in a previous stream, I don't know. Getting better yourself, we'll put in the right amount, right path for the life you want. Well, that's for sure, man. You gotta work on yourself before you can find someone else. It's something I've always understood, is that that's the case. And I know two things. One, I don't like where the current dating culture is, and two, I am not in the place that I should be if I'm looking for a partner. If I'm looking to date, I'm not in the right place that I should be. So, you know, that's been my focus. Making sure I can get where I need to be and then work on that stuff. All right, let's see. Yeah, we got the bedrooms next. And for the bedrooms, let's go with Oh man, what wallpapers do I want to use? I'm tempted to use the same bedroom wallpapers we used last time because they're classics. We love to use them. Also, though, do I want to? Do I really want to? I don't know. I don't know. Let's just see what wallpapers we've got, you know? We'll see what we've got. We're not going to worry about the papering over the blue in the hallway. The reason why we chose the blue and the green is that we don't have to paper over them. But we'll see. Just remember, everything happens when it's supposed to. God has a plan. I agree with that part. I don't agree with the drink tea part. I don't agree with the drink tea part, but, you know, if it's an iced tea, if it's a cold tea, then sure, I'll drink that. I'll drink that, absolutely. But, not a hot drinks guy. Not a hot drinks guy. Alright, well, let's see here. Yeah, we need to check out the wallpapers. And we need to worry about the window pieces first. So, what pieces would we go with here? There's crazy detailed marble and granite pieces, and I'm thinking, what in the world would I build that would use these? It's insane. Okay, so basically all of the most useful wallpapers for bedrooms are kind of in this section here. We go with this guy and we go over to about here. It has been a long time since I've used this bright yellow. I've used it once or twice, but it's been a long time since. So I'll use you for one, and then I think I'll use you for the other. Yeah. I'll have you go there on the one window piece, and then on the two window piece, we'll go with the nice bright yellow. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Okay, let's get the standard pieces to go with it. The shared pieces, rather, not standard pieces. What am I saying? What language am I speaking here? For spelling, you're probably right on the money about it. You know, there's accent marks and stuff, but you're probably right on the money for it. I'll give it a... I'll check it out, but we don't have any specialty foreign food stores here. It's the Midwest. We don't do that. We don't do that kind of thing. If I look for it, I'll probably have to look for it online. Alright, cool. And yes, we will put in the wallpaper trim. Because we're using standardized pieces, we can. It's not going to be a problem. Not a problem. And we've got the time for it, you know? We're just about 2 hours in. We've definitely got the time for it. Really cuts down on the amount of time you need to spend once you've got a staple that you're working off of. There we go. We'll grab this guy. And do the same over here. Wonderful. Now I just got the northern facing wall pieces and we'll be good from there. Oh, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are dead serious about it. I'm sure they're as serious about it as we Italians are about Italian cuisine and about the proper way to make spaghetti bolognese. And man, can we get annoying about it. We can get quite annoying about it. All right, that's good with all of the wallpaper trims. Now all we need to do is actually place the furniture. So we've got the two beds, which will be up against the northern walls, facing each other. Yeah, they'd be facing each other. The feet of the bed would be facing each other, and then we've got the bedside cabinet and the and the dressers. And then any artwork or clocks or anything that needs to go in there as well. All right, cool. Out here, we're going to go ahead and place a clock on that wall. Right back there. And then we'll go over here. And we will place which piece? I've used Christ the Redeemer quite a lot. It's a great looking icon. I think we will go for... yeah. I think we'll go for Christ carrying his cross. Alright, I like it. I like it. And then on the interior, we'll do our own thing on the interior. We'll figure out what's going on in here. Let's get that furniture first, though. Gotta get that bedroom furniture first. Oh, we've also got hampers that need to go in. That's right. Can't forget the hampers. We got hampers. Okay. Furniture, beds, single. And we want you. Vault bed that actually has framing to it. As opposed to the vault bed that has no framing to it, and I don't know why it's called a vault bed. Because the lack of framing means that it doesn't match the other vault furniture. It should just be, you know, bed or something. All right, wonderful. I'm gonna line you up. $180. X 256. And move you around in here. Okay, good. Good. Well, we got like half the work done for you. All right, awesome. Yeah, that works great. That works great, especially because these are roommates. We're not doing, like I said, we're not doing a whole family structure here. This is just a couple roommates, and we're working from there. I do this myself, actually. I have my bed. I don't have my bed just like centered in my room. I have my bed up against a wall because when it comes to making your bed and tucking everything in, it's so much easier to do that when you have one side of your bed up against a wall, so that when things are tucked in, it's not going to move around. Unless, of course, you move around a lot when you sleep. And some people do, some people don't. I tend to just find where I'm comfortable and pass out. I don't move around a lot. So it's pretty helpful for me. My brother, on the other hand, he will fall asleep in one position, wake up off of the bed 6 positions different and across the room if he's not comfortable. Crazy. All right, containers, home. Yup, we want a couple of you. Don't need to be too careful about placing these. Just need to place them and work from there. I'll rotate this guy around once I've got him placed. Oh boy, okay. So you want to be difficult. That's fine. Alright, well the two aren't lined up perfectly, but I don't know if I need them to be. I kind of want them to be, though. Alright, I think that's about as good as we're gonna get. Yeah, that's about as good as we're gonna get with lining those guys up. Okay, for the other furniture, we will line it up as well as possible, because that's just what we do with those. Okay, let's go. No, it would be containers mods. Yeah, here we are. I could, of course, go with the vault furniture, the vault dresser, but I don't want to. All right. We'll go 64 and then 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Whoa. Oh, I don't think I caught that one on time. Oh, man. Oh, I hope you guys didn't hear that. That was a weird sneeze. Oh, that one was strange. Okay. Thankfully, nothing, you know, nothing escaped. It just felt strange. All right, let's see. We also want the... Ah, that's what it is. It would be furniture, containers, home. That's what we're looking for. This is the second thing we wanted. I didn't want the small dresser and the large dresser. I want you. I want 2 of you. And then we want to have you be as centered on this wall as we can make you. So starting from here, we want 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70... 77, which would be 38.5, right? 38.5 would be 77. 38.5 times 2, rather. Yeah, 38.5. Okay, minus 38.5. And that is centered on that section. Okay, we got you centered on the window, you centered on the wall. That works great for us. Works really, really good, actually. Okay. Yeah, wonderful. Let's go ahead and get into OC Decorator. Well, how are we doing on time? 47 minutes remaining. Ish. 46 and 20, really. But we're close. We are close. All right, we are going to start with the alarm clocks before we go to the lamps. We're going to start with the alarm clocks, then we'll place the radios, and then we'll place the lamps, if we've got some time for it. or some space rather. There we go. Alarm clock. I might as well grab the alarm clock for the other guy as well. We'll go with you. Yeah, the yellow alarm clock really does match the wallpaper pretty well. Then we'll go with the radio. Okay, so the lamp is probably not going to be a good call, which is fine. We can have the lamp on the dresser instead. Awesome. Now we'll go ahead and grab... We can try. We can see if the lamp will work in this area. We'll see. Maybe, maybe not. I don't think it will. But it's worth it. It's worth checking out. If it did work, it would be this guy, right? If it did work, it would have to be that guy. Just because of the height of the lampshade. Would you look at that? It works pretty well, actually. Wonderful. Oof. Okay, good. Good. That means all that stuff is right there. And then we will go ahead and put on the back section things that are identifiable of the person. Of the individual, as well as phones. We'll also put phones back here. Okay, seriously? Shouldn't be that difficult to place you. Very strange that the closer I get, the more it wants to be placed on this piece when it shouldn't. Like, the size of the hitbox doesn't or shouldn't change. So I don't know why it makes it easier to place. I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. We'll say this person wants to travel around and experience the wider world outside of the Wasteland. Alright. I realize one thing I haven't done, and I think I'm going to keep it that way for this build. I have not put any ashtrays. Maybe the people here aren't big smokers. I think I like that. I think I'll hold on to not having them do that. We'll go with that. Well, there has to be a world outside of the Wasteland. Otherwise, how would people have survived? How would people have, you know, come together and built communities? There has to be. Also, yes, in the larger Fallout lore, we know that there is more than we have seen in the games. People do exist. But it's different depending on where in the Wasteland we're talking about. For instance, Caesar's Legion comes from the eastern side of the Colorado River. Somewhere in Colorado is where they originate. Which means that people still live in Colorado. Enough people to create an extremely formidable military force. We know that monasteries existed. The Fallout 3 Point Lookout DLC confirms as much, that there was a monastic community somewhere north of the Commonwealth. Which I find it interesting that that they mention the Commonwealth as in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts in Fallout 3. They did a lot of that. They did a lot of planting seeds for the Commonwealth in Fallout 3. But somewhere north of the Commonwealth is a monastery that still holds fast to their religious values and expresses their belief that that while the nuclear apocalypse was a horrendous event, it is not the ultimate end of society. Society can still be rebuilt and all of that, all of the normal things. It's actually integral. The mention of this Christian organization is integral to one of Point Lookout's most infamous, or famous maybe, I don't know, missions, which was the mission to go ahead and grab the book belonging to the Book of Oog Qualtoth. I believe that's what it was. Or was it the Krevbekna? Yeah, it was the Krevbekna. That's what it was. All that kind of stuff. The Black Hall, is it the Black Hall family? It might be the Black Hall family. They're very integral. It's a solid Fallout 3 DLC. Probably, well, I don't know if it's my favorite Fallout 3 DLC. I don't have as much of a tie to Fallout 3 as the other Fallouts because, well, Fallout 3 likes to break every time I try to open it. But of the Fallout 3 DLC that aren't supposed to be direct continuations of the story, you know, Broken Steel is supposed to just be a direct continuation. Of the other Fallout 3 DLCs, we've got Point Lookout, we've got The Pit, and we've got oh, what's the alien one called? We've also got Operation Anchorage, but that one, I'm not counting that one. Because it's basically, Operation Anchorage is basically just one mission. The alien one, you know what I'm talking about. The one you go to Pittsburgh, the one you visit space with the aliens and all of the people from time, and the one that you visit Point Lookout. I think Point Lookout is probably my favorite of those. I could understand. I certainly agree that it would be interesting to see a game set outside of the US, but so much of the aesthetics of Fallout are heavily tied to the United States as a whole. You know, outside of the US, you probably won't have Pip-Boys. You might not have Nuka-Cola, even though they're a global brand, so maybe you would. You wouldn't have the same 50s aesthetic. You wouldn't have the same kind of military technology because that was that was proprietary U.S. stuff. So much of the iconography of Fallout is heavily tied to 1950s and 60s era American imagery. Yeah, the Zaytons, that's what it is. But I'm forgetting like what the DLC name is for them. I know that they're the Zaytons, but it's the DLC specifically. But yeah, so much is tied to, so much about the concept of Fallout as a franchise is tied to the United States in its glory days, so to speak. I mean, I could see that. I could see that being an interesting perspective, but I don't know how much of a story there would be to tell. What we do know is that by the end of the Sino-American War, which would be the war between America and China, I'm sure you guys know that, but I like to clarify for those who might not be aware. At the end of the Sino-American War, what we do know is that China had been so badly beaten that their only retaliation was nuclear weapons. They surrendered and they signed treaties and stuff, but they were so badly beaten and they were so upset at the American victory that their only solution was launching nukes. It was canon for most of the history of Fallout, most of the game series' history. It was canon that China shot first when it came to nuclear warfare. The original developers of Fallout believed this. Certainly Bethesda believed this up through Fallout 4. Remember, we see the newsreel playing in Fallout 4, and there have been confirmed nuclear launches and strikes at X, Y, and Z location. China shot first. They were in such a bad position they believed that was the only solution to their problem, which means there probably wasn't a whole lot left of China. Probably not much left. Mothership Zeta, there we go. Thank you, Ranger Bravo. Mothership Zeta, that is the DLC name. But yeah, for them to have been in such a bad position means I don't know how much that they would have left to really tell as a story. I would like to see it. I just don't know how much there would be left to tell. It would be a lot easier to tell stories of countries allied with the United States, because that means they would have been able to share in the resource war stuff. Like Canada was annexed and was given a portion of the remaining resources. Britain was an ally, but I don't know how much of Britain was caught up in the European resource wars or anything like that. I imagine that because they're an island nation, the UK, that they're probably a little bit more separate from it than the rest of Europe. But I don't know. I mean, I was very interested in. I was extremely interested in the Fallout London DLC size, well, game-sized mod, not even DLC size, game-sized mod. I was super excited about that because I wanted to see what people thought, and the people behind it were extremely dedicated to making as lore-friendly of a game as they possibly could. Then the Fallout show and the next gen update happened, and the Fallout show decided to canonize that Vault-Tec launched nukes on the United States because, quote, there's a lot of money to be made in the end of the world. The dumbest line you could possibly have Mr. House say. That is the least intelligent line you could have the most intelligent person in that room say. And it's all because you want to make a capitalism bad argument. It's such a bad show. It's such a terrible show. It's such a horrendous show, and it ruins so much of the characterization of Mr. House in just that bit, because Fallout New Vegas talks about how he was so intelligent, so ahead of the curve, so pro-humanity, that he was able to calculate within a matter of hours when the nuclear war was going to happen, and it was only a couple of hours that stopped him from being able to save Vegas and build a new Eden, so to speak. He didn't know what was going to happen. He's not supposed to know what was going to happen. But the show decided, nah, he was in on this. He was in on the Vault-Tec stuff. He was completely in on Vault-Tec nuking the world. And it just makes him look stupid. Makes him look horrendously stupid. It's such a bad show. It is such a bad show, and I as you can tell, I can't talk about that show. I cannot talk about that show and not get very heated about it. It's stupid when I think about it, but I mean, it does so much damage. It does so much damage, and I wish that they didn't just rely on, oh, but you see, we did the Pip-Boy, but you see, we played 50s music. That shouldn't sway people. That really shouldn't. Really. And I don't think it did. I don't think it swayed the majority of people. I have faith that the majority of the audience was very clearly not happy with what happened. I do have faith that the majority of the audience paid attention to the quality of the story that they were being handed. All right, I think we're good with the rooms. Ooh, yeah, we've got a clock to place somewhere, and maybe some artwork. Let's get those done before we go ahead and put the ceiling on, actually. Furniture. SOE clock. We'll go with you. And we'll go with you. All right. Yeah, that's I do feel like I'm a screaming fish right now. I do feel like that. That's real. Very real. Me for real. Yeah, it's tough to talk about that show. Very tough. But yeah, as much as I think that would be an interesting story to tell, why did China shoot first? What brought China to shoot first? Was it a unified decision, or was it a rogue operative within China that wanted to do this? Like, I think that would be interesting to tell. Bethesda has decided that that's not a story they're interested in. They're not interested in telling that kind of story. They're interested in telling you that capitalism bad, and we're going to say it by telling you that capitalism is the reason that the world exploded, or something like that. Instead of saying that the Cold War went hot, they're going to say that America bad because money. Like they took the path of least resistance when it came to writing into like story themes, and did not realize that it was the path of most it was also the path of least intelligence. I could be a lot more harsh in the language I was using there, but I'm gonna put it as kindly as I can. The path of least intelligence. Alright, we're going to grab a second light. Move you back there, keep you here. Okay, let's get the ceiling fans taken care of. If you had the game in China, there's a metric ton of ways the plot could develop, even if you don't want the game banned there. Oh, I'm sure that there are. I'm sure that there are. If Bethesda was interested in complex storytelling, they would tell complex stories. But they're not. They're interested in making sure that that they push a certain perspective because it's what they're being paid to do. It's what they're being paid to do by Microsoft. It's what they're being incentivized to do by all kinds of, you know, corporate incentive packages from all these different organizations out there. It's what they're being incentivized to do in order to increase certain social score for one reason or another. This is what they do. It's what every big corporation does right now. And it's just company poison. But they're more afraid of being called bad social thing than being recognized as being unproductive. All right, that is almost dead on center. Very happy with that one. We'll also put a ceiling fan out here. Why not? We want some good airflow in this building. It's a very narrow apartment. Good airflow would be nice. All right, awesome. Awesome, let's get those doors. And we'll do the door for the bottom floor, and then we'll go up and mess with the roof. And with the time that we have left, we'll build the laundromat. We will build the laundromat. Yeah, it certainly is the problem. But that's all part, like a component of the problem is that it's not just one thing. It is a multitude of things that they have chosen are more important than their audience. That are leading them to these positions, that are putting them in these terrible positions where they're just not making, like, they're neither profitable nor do they have a great reputation with their core audience. And that shouldn't be the case. There is not a single good reason on planet Earth that they need to do that. It is just poor leadership that has brought them to this position where they think it's more profitable for them, or where maybe they don't have much of a choice in the matter. Maybe they're being strong-armed into it. I could see that. I could see them being strong-armed into it, but that doesn't mean that they're not responsible. They're still responsible for their actions, even if they were under duress. All right, that's pretty good there. Very happy with it. Very happy with the way that turned out. Let's go ahead and put the door on. Now we will work on the laundromat. Yes. Okay. We could really just break down the barrier between these two and have it be one large laundromat if we wanted. We could have it be that. That might be interesting. We could also set it up so that it's kind of like a tailor's on one side. Well, no, I say that and now I'm just taking that back because I don't know what that would even look like, how that would work, or if that would even be a good idea. No, we'll set the laundromat up here. I don't know what the other store is going to be. If I figure it out, I'll do it off camera because we need to finish up these buildings. We need to finish up these buildings. But at least for this side, because the guys above do not have a laundry machine. We'll turn the bottom floor into the laundromat. I should put the roof on first, just in case we run out of time here, shouldn't I? There we go. Yeah, in case we run out of time, we'll put in the roof. Not like we're putting anything up on this roof. We don't need to be too crazy about it. We want commercial 4. Roof theme 1. Then we want you. And we'll duplicate you on the other side. Oi. And then it was 2 full window pieces. Okay, cool. All right, now let's get the corner in. Well, the corners, plural. We got 2 of them to place. All right, now the actual roof itself. Roof flat, and we want to use the pieces that aren't being torn up. Not that, again, not that anyone's going to see them at this height, because we're not putting anything up here, but just because I don't like the way that they look. All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, I don't want to miss out on my chance to put all the little details on the building. So we'll finish putting details on the building, then we'll go and build the laundromat. And I think the other space I'll just have, you know, a for rent sign or something. I don't know. There's got to be a for rent sign in one of the mods that we have here, right? There has to be. Very helpful not having a, you know, not having to worry about windows on this back wall. Also very helpful not having a building in the way. I can place these pillar pieces pretty easily without the building. All right, we got those taken care of. On this side, I guess I didn't get the guys at the bottom, did I? No, I didn't. Oh, that's right. I said it wasn't my biggest concern because there's such a thin wall here. No one's going to notice, but then I noticed. All right, well that looks great. Very happy with the building that we have. Very, very happy. All right, we've got 15 minutes. Let's build out a laundromat. Laundromat's going to be easy. Easy to build. We just place a bunch of washing machines in the center, and on the walls we'll place the dryers. Super simple stuff. Super simple stuff. And then we'll find a nice perch for a great screenshot for it. Okay. So yeah, I'm just going to close that off with a door. Not worry about it. We might put an HVAC unit in here. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll put an HVAC unit. Decorations, miscellaneous. Would that be exterior? Probably not. No, it's probably interior. It's definitely got to be interior, right? Yeah, it's interior. Couldn't be in miscellaneous, no. There it is, HVAC unit. That's what we wanted. That's what we were looking for. That's pretty good. Okay. Great. Yeah, we don't really need to put anything else back there. Okay. We'll put the door on it now because we already know where the door is and we've already got the door pulled up and everything like that. Yep, and I will have it swing out because it's not like I'm going to have the HVAC door swing into the HVAC unit. That would be dumb. That would not be super smart. Not super smart at all. Okay, we want Homemaker furniture containers. Home. Yes. Okay. A bunch of dryers along the walls, which we can just put against that wall and against this wall. That way we've got plenty of window space. And we'll probably end up double stacking them, yes. All right. Do I want them squished in that way or that way? If we squish them in towards the door and have that one stay in place, then it would probably be centered on the wall. If I have them squished towards the window, though, gives us a little bit more space over here at the HVAC unit. I'll probably leave it that way, and then we'll place him this direction. Make sure we get it all lined up on the wood. Oh, that was about as perfect as I could make it. Okay, good. Alright, I'd like to get 5 on each wall if I can get that. Okay, you stacked a lot easier when I stacked you left to right instead of right to left. That has to be a hitbox issue. Well... Alright, so we got those. Yeah, we'll move them towards the window. Why not? Alright, awesome. Awesome. Yeah, that gives us a lot more room to actually get to the HVAC unit if we need to. Probably saves people from fire hazard stuff, you know? Not a great idea. Not a great idea to block your HVAC unit. I would know. Looking at the door to my HVAC unit, I would know. Okay, you gotta line up with that guy. Shouldn't be too hard. Oh man. I know exactly which issue you're a part of here. I gotta just remove you entirely, don't I? Yeah, I do, okay. Oh well, it happens. It happens. Okay, let's get this wall taken care of, then we'll put in the washing machines. We will be a little bit over. A little bit over, but that'll be alright. I have been to a laundromat a few times. I've always lived in a place where, well, I say that, except for when I went off to university, I've always lived in a place that allowed, like, I had a washing machine myself. Actually, no, the first apartment I lived in, I had a laundromat as well, except by the time I lived in my first apartment, my family had moved closer to me here in the Midwest. So I would just take my clothes over to their place, do my laundry there, you know, visit, have dinner or whatever, and then bring my stuff back. Yeah, laundromats are interesting. I had one in my dorm. The bottom floor of my dorm at school, at university, had a laundromat, which is great for the students, but also just another way for the school to just pull money out of you. The prices were very stupid. And you had to use their proprietary fake campus currency. Like you couldn't just pay money to use them. You had to use whatever their fake campus currency was. Again, just raking you over the coals for all you're worth. Raking you over the coals isn't the right expression. Wringing you out like a towel. There we go. That's better. I'm getting a call right now from my brother. Give me a second here, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and send into voicemail. Then I'll send him a message and let him know. currently streaming. I'll call you back in a few. There we go. All right, it is now 3 hours in, and I will, I'll finish this up, and then we'll be done. Then we will be done for the day. Okay, let's go ahead and put in our laundry machines. Should be easier to put in the laundry machines because we can line them up and then back them into each other and be all done there. Okay, so a drying cycle on these laundry machines, especially these older models, a drying cycle tends to take longer than a washing cycle. I use these machines or similar machines myself. Myselves, plural. I'm not Gollum over here. Myself. All right, we'll grab you. Slot you in next to him. Got to be very particular about the placement of this first set. And then once I've got the first line, the second line is super easy. Super easy. And it helps me to figure out how many of these I can actually place in here. I can reasonably fit in the space. All right, we'll go one more. Yeah, we'll go 5 for 5. Wonderful. And then there was one. All right, wonderful. Wonderful. That is a stereotypical laundromat. I love it. I love it. Now, I'm going to look for a sign very quickly before we finish up here. Something along the lines of for rent. Wall decorations. No, it wouldn't be wall decorations. It'd be back here. Signs. Informational, maybe? Ah, yes. There we go. Go with the nice for rent sign. Ooh, that's interesting. That's interesting. The black and white pillars kind of meshing. Kind of like that. I don't like that it's you know, tearing itself apart visually, but I do like the sort of checkerboard pattern for the black and white meshing there. That's cool. That's cool. All right, we've got you. All right, let's put the door on. Let's grab our screenshot and then we'll go. Then we will go. Yeah, we'll wait to put a bunch of greenage until we finish up this corner bit. Then we'll put some greenage on. But until then we'll just grab the screenshot. So let's make 2 saves. Now set game hour to 7, if we were to do that. We could go 7 o'clock would get us light on that side, and then 6 p.m. would get us no light on that building at all. Okay. Well, I kind of like the 7 a.m. look a little bit more, and to be entirely honest. I do wish that, you know, some clouds are out, but that's all right. It's not my biggest concern. Free cam. Let's go for a really nice shot here. We could do a bunch of things actually. We could grab a shot with the laundromat. We could try and go for an alleyway shot. We could do a bunch of things. If we go for an overhead, which I'm thinking we probably go for an overhead here. Just to emphasize how much is around the space as well. I like it. I like it. Yeah, the geniusly lazy for rent signs are pretty good. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad that they exist in the game, honestly. I'm surprised that they exist in the game. All right. Well, that is everything. It is officially all we need to do for this building, which means we have 6 more buildings to work on. Actually, 5. That's right, 5. We've got 5 more. 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5. Got 5 more buildings. Oh boy. Okay, 5 left. Wow, we are really coming up to the end here, aren't we? Whew. Okay, well, we will continue with those last 5 on Monday. Yes, we will continue with those last 5 on Monday because tomorrow we take off for our Sunday, for a bunch of Sunday stuff. But yeah, tomorrow's Sunday. I take Sundays off, so thank you guys so much for watching. This has been a lot of fun. I'm glad I was able to get my OBS stuff handled, although I wish I got it handled yesterday. There was just an update that didn't want to push to my system, and it wouldn't let me open the app after I said start the update. So I got to have a lot of fun fixing that yesterday. But that's all taken care of now. It is up to date, and I will make sure only to do updates when the app is not in use or when I'm not planning on using it. I'll only update things after streams from now on. So once again, thank you all so much for watching. If you've been watching live and you aren't already, consider following me here on Kick and subscribing over on the VODs channel on YouTube if you want to check out the rest of the series or any of the other games that I've played. If you're just interested in Fallout, no problem. This is episode 61, 62? What is that? 62, which means we have over 183 hours of content for you to watch. It should be 186 with this episode, which is absurd. 186 hours of Fallout content for you to watch completely for free over on the VODs channel, as well as a settlement tour video for the castle, and soon a settlement tour video here for Jamaica Plains when the settlement's all done. I've got the script mostly completed. I need to record that, record the audio for that, and then we'll grab some footage once Jamaica Plains is done, and put it all together, give you a little bit of a story, and hopefully that video won't take forever to produce. We'll see. We'll see. It shouldn't be the worst. It shouldn't be too crazy to produce that video. But yeah, if you are watching on the VODs channel, thank you. Consider leaving a like, comment, and subscribing, and turning on your notifications if you haven't already. If you have, thank you very much. That means the world to me. We're approximately 300 subscribers away from being able to monetize the channel, which is wild. Very, very crazy. 300 subscribers from being able to offer channel memberships, and with channel memberships, I can do a bunch of things. I can have watch parties. I can have member exclusive content, all kinds of stuff. In fact, I might do watch parties for shows, because I've got a few videos in the works that will begin to actually go into effect as soon as certain other shows and movies come out. I've got a few videos prepared for those. I just need to go ahead and watch the things. We've got Batman Caped Crusader, which is coming up, and I don't think it'll be a good show, but I would like it to be a good show. And I've got videos I've got planned for that. I've got a video planned for Deadpool and Wolverine, depending on its quality. A few different videos in the works, and I can do watch parties for a lot of those things over here on YouTube, which would be great to do with members. So we'll see. We'll see how that all turns out. But beyond that stuff, go ahead and check the description of each and every single VOD for the Fallout series, and you will find that I have a list of all of the different settlement mods that I'm using. That should be about 54 of the 250 mods in my load order. A question was asked by a recent viewer: which mod do I use for the Christian iconography and all the artwork pieces? I replied to his comment by calling it His Kingdom Come, but the mod is either called His Kingdom Come or Building His Kingdom. One of those two. It's on Nexus. It's sort of the biggest Christian focused mod for Fallout stuff. You should definitely check it out if it's something you're interested in. I understand that's probably not everyone's cup of tea. That's fine. You guys don't have to build the same things that I build. I'm just happy you guys are watching and engaging so well with the content that I have out there for you. In the description, you will also find links to my social media pages, my Twitter and my Instagram, if you want to get manual notifications for when I'm going to stream and you're not following me on Kick, then Twitter's the place to get them, as well as the VODs channel on YouTube, the community tab I always update with my stream schedule for the day. You will also find a link to, of course, my Instagram, which has a lot of my photography on there. As I was talking about today, my Israel trip, all of my photos from my Israel trip are up there. If you want to go check those out, I've got other things I need to put up there. I have not had the time to edit those photos and sort through them to see which ones are like the good ones to put up, because I've been very busy with all of this stuff. But when I get the chance, those will definitely go up as well. Other than those, you will find links to ways you can support me monetarily. Patreon, donating to the stream directly, a variety of ways if you are so inclined. If not, no worries. Just the fact that you guys are watching is enough for me, and I would hate to beg you, beg you to part with your money, because that seems, I don't know, that seems a little scummy to me. Yeah, it just seems a bit weird. You guys know how money works, of course. If I have money, I can afford to put more money into the things that I do for you guys, but I don't want to sit here and turn that into like the whole reason I do this. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't enjoy it. So yeah. I think that's everything. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all on Monday, because I take Sundays off, approximately the same bat time, and definitely the same bat channel. So yeah, have a good rest of your weekend.